Good morning everyone, I'm Shraja Narayan, a second year medical student from Eraz Lucknow Medical College, and I'm here to present the case of my 41-year-old male patient who was admitted in the surgical ward with acute upper abdominal pain. The pain aggravated at night and woke him up from the sleep. The pain was also constant and non-radiating. The pain did not go away with intake of any medication but did go away on intake of food. He had no episodes of vomiting and there was no family and medical history. Examination revealed pain in the upper epigastric region, so an abdominal X-ray was done which revealed free intraperitoneal gas. A CT scan was also done which showed the presence of subphrenic abscess between the diaphragm and the liver. Urine breath test was positive for H. pylori infection. The patient was consented for diagnostic laparoscopy and to proceed on the further findings from the operation. Sodium thiopental and vecuronium was given before intubation in the dose of 0.05 mg per kg, and then isoflurane and nitrous oxide mixture was maintained. Laparoscopy revealed a large amount of fluid in the subphrenic space and a 1 cm perforation in the anterior wall of the first part of the duodenum. At the end of the process, reversal of the neuromuscular blockage was required, which was done by neostigmine. Now, if we look at the cholinergic transmission, we can see that the choline molecule along with acetylcholine esterase forms acetylcholine in the presence of acetyltransferase, which is then released and then the further response is produced. Now, the extra amount of acetylcholine is then hydrolyzed in the presence of acetylcholine esterase to choline and acetate, so that the choline is then recycled. Now, neostigmine is a cholinergic agonist. That is, it increases the secretion of acetylcholine, so-called indirect reversible cholinergic drug or anticholine esterase. At the site of blockage, neostigmine increases the production of acetylcholine by stopping or inhibiting its hydrolysis so that it is not recycled for the reuptake of choline. This is why it is also used in myasthenia gravis. So neostigmine is basically a cholinesterase inhibitor. Vecuronium, being a short-active drug due to its fast metabolism, is used for paralysis, so it is also called skeletal muscle relaxant. Now, these effects or side effects of neostigmine can be inhibited by giving an anticholinergic drug which would inhibit the uptake of acetylcholine. Side effects of neostigmine can be like any other cholinergic drug, which can be salivation, sweating, lacrimation, emesis, diarrhea, urination, bronchorrhea, bradycardia, etc. So, the drug used in combination with neostigmine is glycopyrrolate, which is an antispasmodic and antisecretory. That is, if given in IV form, it can reduce the secretions of saliva, nasal, lung, and stomach. Follow-up and treatment. His post-operative recovery was very remarkable and he was prescribed a H. pylori triple drug therapy regimen, which generally includes 1 proton pump inhibitor and 2 antimicrobials, which can be omeprazole plus clarithromycin or amoxicillin. At follow-up, he had no symptoms and no pain, so he was just prescribed a maintenance dose of omeprazole. So, if we further discuss the case, a question may arise in your mind that why only glycopyrrolate? Why not any other anticholinergic drug? Why not atropine or ipratropium bromide or any other drug? So, a very simple answer to this question can be that atropine is a muscarinic blocker and it also crosses the blood-brain barrier. And glycopyrrolate does not cross the blood-brain barrier, and is also an anti-secretory and antispasmodic agent. So the best choice to be given with neostigmine. Duodenal ulcer is more common in males than females and it generally affects the age group of 25 to 50 years. Thank you so much.